Welcome to the webinar dedicated to ConSEL Plus software. I would like to present the most important features that distinguish ConSEL Plus. In other words, modules and the most important functionalities present in the software. The ConSEL Plus software belongs to the group of specialized software. It is an advanced dispatching system that is designed to be used together with Moto Turbo radio systems by Motorola Solutions. Whether you use ConSEL Plus in organizations with a small radio infrastructure or in large, heavily populated radio networks does not matter. From the very beginning, the main goal of the authors of the dispatching software created at ConSEL was the reliability of the system. Therefore, the product is designed for organizations where reliability and security play a major role. ConSEL is highly trusted by companies and services of various types, from national parks to factories. ConSEL is the result of many years of work by qualified programmers. Its origins date back to the beginnings of Moto Turbo, with our software being developed in parallel to Motorola's system. During this period, ConSEL has been implemented in many different sectors in Poland. As ConSEL Plus is software of a modular nature, the two basic groups of modules are connectivity modules and functional modules. Connectivity modules include Moto Turbo radio systems, IP Site Connect, Capacity Plus Single Site, Capacity Plus Multi-Site, and Capacity Max. It is important to note that the purchase of at least one of the connectivity modules is required for the ConSEL Plus system to work. Functional modules have been divided into 5 parts: IP System Bridge Module, Recorder Module, System Monitoring Module, RF Coverage Monitoring Module, and Location Positioning Module. The basic module, Core, is required for the operation of ConSEL Plus. Each of the radio systems supported by ConSEL Plus is an advanced system created by Motorola Solutions, which, depending on the type, have different applications. The radio system is an element that should be adapted to the needs of the organization. After selecting and implementing the system, the appropriate module must be purchased. It is worth mentioning that the radio server communicates with repeaters using the NI interface for both voice and data in each systems. IP Site Connect is a digital solution that uses the Internet to extend the reach of the Moto Turbo communication system wherever it is located. With it, you can easily communicate with places located in different parts of the city, state, or country. This module includes 2 voice streams. Moto Turbo Capacity Plus. This single-site digital trunking system cost-effectively expands communication systems and provides reliable digital technology. Moto Turbo Capacity Plus is a scalable, cost-effective solution for Moto Turbo conventional systems that provides reliable digital technology combined with the many benefits of traditional trunking systems to enable Moto Turbo radio users to share both voice and data communications on the same digital system without having to add new frequencies. The Capacity Plus single-site license includes 4 voice streams. If you need to communicate with a large team across a wide area with a scalable, easy-to-use system, then Moto Turbo Capacity Plus Multi-Site, formerly Linked Capacity Plus, is your cost-effective solution. You can move on your own terms, one talk group or department at a time, and spread out the cost of new equipment as your budget allows. This license includes 6 voice streams. The Capacity Max system is a trunked radio system with an assigned control channel at each site. As a result of the centralized architecture, difficulty of deployment and costs are reduced, while flexibility and scalability are increased. Now let's focus on the functional modules. Functional modules can extend the capabilities of ConSEL Plus. Therefore, this software can be tailored to any, even the most sophisticated needs. The graphics itself show the relationship between the individual modules. It is very clear that the main and inseparable module is the core module. The rest of the modules can be purchased additionally, while the core module is mandatory. After purchasing the core license, you have the opportunity to use functions such as intercom, in other words, the possibility of communication between dispatchers without involving other users of the radio network, voice and data transmission, sending messages both predefined and typed by the dispatcher, crosspatch, a solution that connects different groups or individual users. The core license also includes an emergency state, which is mandatory for many industries that require a high standard of security. The IP System Bridge gives you the ability to connect two or more radio systems. It enables communication between radios operating in different networks with fixed and dynamic voice call bridging. It helps in everyday operations such as car fleet management and also helps to overcome geographical obstacles, as well as allowing you to connect two different radio systems. This module is not available for the Capacity Max system. Voice recording is a module that allows you to record all possible events that take place in the system, from voice calls to emergency events, and the GPS positions of all radios in the system. All these events are recorded on the server. Using this module, you can play back all calls and save them in an external player. You can also save each connection as a WAV file. System monitoring is a module that is designed to analyze everything that happens in the system during its operation and provides insight into repeater diagnostics. The module also has the functionality to view previously recorded device activity, which in turn allows for effective analysis of historical data. An addition to this module is the network topology, which is a functionality that allows visual representation of ConSEL Plus system components. In the network topology window, you will see icons corresponding to dispatchers, a radio server, and repeaters. You will also see a clean split between the connected radio systems. Icons are also used to identify the status of individual components, as well as for basic management of their functions, such as turning drives on or off. RF coverage monitoring is a module that allows you to check and control the coverage of the radio range. Often, unfavorable terrain such as mountains, density of buildings, or electromagnetic interference can have a large impact on the formation of gaps in radio coverage. This module allows you to verify coverage by generating coverage maps. To be able to use this module, you must first have not only the core module, but also the location positioning module. A module that is very popular is location positioning. Its popularity is a direct result of the requirements of most customers to have radio location capabilities in the system. The module is compatible with OpenStreetMaps and allows not only real-time tracking of GPS objects, but also allows you to examine the route that objects have traveled over time. Now let's move from the functional modules to the most important ConSEL Plus functionalities. The radio console is an element without which the dispatcher's console could not exist. The radio console window not only has the ability to make calls, but in this window you can also replay dispatcher voice calls that have taken place in the past. It also allows us to choose the users we want to call, whether it's an individual call, a group call, or a call to all. As ConSEL Plus also has the ability to send messages to the radio, of course this window also allows you to do so. Now let's move from the functional modules to the most important ConSEL Plus functionalities. The radio console is an element without which the dispatcher's console could not exist. The radio console window not only has the ability to make calls, but in this window you can also replay dispatcher voice calls that have taken place in the past. It also allows us to choose the users we want to call, whether it's an individual call, a group call, or a call to all. As ConSEL Plus also has the ability to send messages to the radio, of course this window also allows you to do so. There are sudden and unforeseen situations. For this purpose, the user can trigger an emergency state, regardless of whether he does it consciously or the state is triggered automatically when the user loses consciousness or his behavior turns out to be non-standard. The triggered emergency state is revealed by a flashing red display and a loud high-frequency sound. If the radio is properly configured, no situation will go unnoticed. The initial configuration of each radio console is very simple and uncomplicated. All we have to do is enter the radio ID of the console and the receiving and transmitting groups. In the case of the IP Site Connect system, it is sufficient to determine the correct slot. Many dispatchers prefer external devices for making calls. ConSEL Plus is prepared for this. In the External Devices configuration window, after physical connection of the device to the dispatcher's console, you only need to add such a device in the appropriate fields. Using the online data window, the user not only supervises the GPS objects in the system, but can also analyze numerical data that reveal a great deal of useful information. The dispatcher then has control over all kinds of objects and routes that convoys and field users have traveled. ConSEL Plus has the ability to connect a large number of dispatchers to the system, depending on their needs. Of course, not every dispatcher will have the same rights and permissions. That's why there is an application users editor in ConSEL Plus. This function allows the administrator to assign appropriate permissions to each of the dispatchers. Adjusting the dispatcher's window to one's own needs and preferences seems to be very important from the dispatcher's point of view. A special window docking system was created just for this purpose. The simplicity of the arrangement of windows and flexibility is something that distinguishes this software. Each Windows dispatcher's settings can be saved and used again in the future. Example of typical dispatcher's window. It is worth noting that both the previous example and the current one are characterized by a completely different arrangement of elements on the screen, which are additionally adjusted in a completely different way. Along with the ConSEL Plus application, a radio server configuration application is created during installation. This application is used to configure the ConSEL Plus system and connect it to the network infrastructure of Moto Turbo systems. In the Status tab, the administrator can easily verify the status of each server, in other words, maps, configurations, or events. It can also verify the correct operation of the configured Moto Turbo module, all of which are indicated by indicators that can be green or red depending on the status. For proper functioning of data and voice transmission between repeaters and the radio server, the modules must be properly configured. The configuration is available in the Modules tab. For many institutions, mainly government, an important advantage is the encryption of data and voice transmission. In ConSEL Plus, we can ensure such encryption by purchasing an additional module for data and voice encryption using the AES-256 cipher. The Licenses tab contains information about currently held licenses. To make the use of the software more flexible, the possibility of changing the colors visible in ConSEL Plus has been introduced. From light patterns to dark patterns, there are many schemes for every dispatcher. Any additional information available can be obtained using the website conselplus.com, which we cordially encourage you to do. There you can find information about previous implementations, the demo version of ConSEL Plus, and full documentation supporting configuration. Thank you for your attention.